Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today I'm going to be doing a After Effects tutorial. I was supposed to be shooting something else, but I forgot to charge both my cameras, and this shit is dead, so I gotta find a cable and charge that. It is a tutorial on how I made Chris Matrix fly, and also buff his Power Ranger staff. Off rip, you've got two options. You can either go straight into After Effects or you can do Premiere Pro. And for this case, I'm going to do Premiere Pro. First things first, you are going to need specific shots. So as you can see in this one, what I have here, I have Chris just jump in place. He did it twice. I used the second part because he didn't like his form in the first one. But as you can see, I just, very simple, had him jump, bang. There was a little bit of a camera shake there, but we're on a roof, so you know the ground is not as stable. So yeah, you are gonna need this footage. So ideally, what you would do is record him. Don't move the camera. Have it on a tripod. Record him, the person jumping up and down, staying completely still, and then also record the background without the subject in the shot. So let's start a new sequence here. I'm going to, I need to go back to my source file. I'm going to take this last bit here. I'm going to do an in and out and right click and then create new sequence from clip, and it's going to bring this into a new sequence down here. Hopefully my camera's not blocking anything for you guys. And then I'm going to take the jumping part here, right here. He's coming back down. You're gonna take this and all the extra stuff. I'm also gonna need this part at the end because we make a weapon appear into the shot. So you would have these overlap. You would add all the extra stuff if you have anything else to add into the scene. I'm going to show you the way I did it in After Effects. So you're gonna right click this. Well, first and foremost, it would make more sense for you to do one of these, is to crop that there and replace with After Effects composition. You would right click and then go to replace with After Effects composition and let this load up. Your sequence should match your source file, so you shouldn't run into an issue here. We are going to go up here to this little young man, little figure, and the brush icon, and that is your rotoscoping brush tool. You're gonna double click here so you can go into the layer of this footage, and from here you are going to trace out your subject. It should auto do it a bit. It's not gonna be the most perfect thing, but you don't have to really worry about that. There's a little bit of a little bit of motion blur there in his hand, so you can't really capture that completely. You can get them as much as you can though. Make sure to grab that window seal. Make sure you get the gap in the legs, left foot, right foot, trimming off all of that extra stuff. And now you can, to get better just edges, you go to your refine edge tool and just trace him out again as best as you can. Doesn't have to be flawless because he is going to be he is a moving subject, so program is going to adjust this as best as it can. Once you've kind of traced him out there, you're going to use your page up and page down buttons to go frame by frame. Page down should go to the next frame. It'll do its best to render. You can also switch these things here so you don't see, you know what I mean, all the extra mumbo jumbo here. Render next frame. Render next frame. You can see his hands coming in, so that the program knows to grab that in there. He's still in there. Looks fine to me still. It's a little wonky here, but it's not an issue because we're gonna you'll see when we edit this, we're gonna add motion blur and stuff. All right, a little bit of wonk. So once you're done and you think your tracing is good, just click freeze down here. All right, frozen that up. Does look wonky, but I'm adding motion blur to this, so it's not gonna fucking be noticeable, and it's gonna go straight into this is just for the landing, honestly. Obviously I keyframed scaling and positioning because I made it look like he just came from the sky. So in order to get that effect going, you're gonna go over here to effects, type in transform, drag and drop that onto your clip. You're gonna see, make sure your effects control is open on the left side or whatever side you have it on, and you're gonna turn on the stopwatch on positioning, turn on the stopwatch on scaling, shutter angle as well. You can crank that up a bit, it's about like 240. That's gonna give it a bit of motion blur as well. And from here you are going to have to adjust some things. So I'm gonna do about 30% on the starting point, and we're gonna drag him out of frame, right? So you're gonna move forward like 7 frames or a little bit more, and you're gonna change the value to 100, and then bring him back down to your starting position, which is 540-ish for me. Might be different from you. You can just refer to the anchor point here. That's the 0 value on your subject, and from there type in motion blur. There's CC force motion blur and then pixel motion blur. I use CC force motion blur for mine. I'm gonna add that in, and you can make it as intense as possible. You can actually have it follow the same amount of frames. So turn the stopwatch on again, turn on shutter angle if you need to, native motion blur on or off. I don't really mind, and you'll see that there is a bit going on already here. He doesn't look jittery, he just looks like he's in motion, which is what you want. And let me let this render out a little bit. So what we're gonna do is Control S here to save, and then we're gonna minimize that and see how this looks on this end, right? So in order to do that, you might have to do a render into out. So we can just mark this in out so it doesn't do the whole thing. All right, the render has finally finished. I shit you not, it took like 5 minutes, but here is the end result. Looks pretty good. Don't mind Yipes in the background yelling out Chris. That was just audio. He was practicing. All right, so that looks pretty good. Not mad at it at all. It's very quick anyways. Like when you play it, like no one notices unless they fucking go frame by frame and look up there. Even then, it still looks like he's fucking, you know, just appearing out of nowhere. So from here, now that you have this done, you just kind of move on to the next thing. Now you could either add the impact at the bottom here. You can put flames around him. I'm not going to cover that on this tutorial, but yeah, it's really free range. The next thing I did was this right here, was just make this pop up. But if you see in the version that I did, there is a kind of like this red thunderous or red flame looking thing on the golden staff here, and I did that in After Effects as well. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut here and there, and we're just gonna highlight both of these clips here, and then hit right click and go to replace with After Effects composition once again. right, we are here. Both clips are there, as you can see. So very simple to get the effect of lightning flashing, the transition from one clip to another. I literally just did a brightness and contrast, but I didn't place it on an extra clip. I went down here, I clicked right click, went to new, and suggested, clicked adjustment layer, and on the adjustment layer you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. And I put in brightness and contrast in there, click stopwatch, literally only tweak the brightness, and you're gonna move your slider, leave it at 0 right there. Make sure you mark that. Let me do it from down here so you can get the jits. Right, do another one for 0. Right at this point, at the transition, crank it. Crank it like a flashbang. Move 2 frames over. Go back down. Gradually, if you so please. And 0. It's really that simple. As you can see, it's damn near fucking flawless. If it'll fit in this awkward ass resolution, you'll see it. No, it's very subtle. It gets the job done. And now I will show you the hard part. And it's not really a hard part because I use the plugin, and this plugin is free. It is called Saber by Video Copilot. I will be sure to leave the link in the description. If you have watched any After Effects video talking about plugins for After Effects, this one's been mentioned in damn near all of them because it is free. And if you really are like savvy, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want with it. So here you can just do either, I'll do a solid color, and it doesn't matter what color it's gonna be, and I'll just place the saber on here, right? Place the plugin onto the solid layer, and there are a couple of presets. So there's the energize one, energy, fire, just a bunch. I'm pretty sure I used electric for this one, and I changed the color to just like a red, and then from there you have a bunch of like other settings to like tweak and stuff. You can change the spread, blur it up a little bit so it's not like a harsh line in the middle. It's not very sharp. Glow bias, make it brighter, darker. Size of the core, extreme, you know what I mean? Like this looks like something out of Stranger Things. So yeah, you do that, and then here under render settings, you can change the composite setting to transparent, and there that is. Now you're probably wondering, okay, it's just there, but After Effects is literally just a bunch of keyframes. So you're gonna go all the way to about here, focus mainly on the top part, and you're just gonna move this bad boy over here. It has a start and an end point, as you can see. Just move it out here, and frame by frame, this frame comes in. You can press the not the core size, the core start and core end is what you'll keyframe. Really, you don't even have to worry about everything else. You can in fact like turn it off up until a certain point if you don't want to just render that out, because it's if you don't disable it and it's in the background like I'll have it, technically it's up here, it's still being rendered into the shot. It's just, you know, your computer's doing extra work when it doesn't really need to do extra work. So yeah, you can turn it off. Literally just press enable glow or disable glow. That also has the stopwatch next to it. You can crank all these values down as well, and then crank them up when it comes into the shot. For this case, I'm not gonna do all that because I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. So we're just gonna leave it in there, right? So here we keyframe, and I literally did this manual. There's a bunch of ways to do this. You could either do a tracker, you could track the positioning here and use Mocha, or the internal tracking that After Effects has. It never really works for me the best, but it's there. Or you can just do it manual. So this is a little bit extreme here, the core size, so I'm gonna cool it and just bring it in. Now I'm just gonna continuously do page down. All right, let's watch this from the top. I finished on my end, so let's press play. Quick flash, right? Bang. Following him. Still tracking, and then he brings it up, and then that's it. Bang. Right, you click save. You can exit it out. You can tweak it if you wanted to. You can change whatever settings you want to change. Add some motion blur. It already has some, technically. But yeah, that's also tweakable. You can get really fancy and like add a red glow to Chris's face or whatever, but I'm not Marvel Studios, okay? So we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and close this because at this point, this is pretty much done. That was pretty much it for the effects. Everything else in the video is simple. It's just audio work. You can see I've got the swoosh sound. Free on, you just Google or YouTube it. Somebody has a sound effects for the shit. This is another one. It's a thunder strike. Easy thunder strike. The audio, that song is a free cinematic sound. You can tons of them. Whatever applies to your video. Then I've got some ambiance, New York City ambiance. If we solo that, you can hear it. Very simple. Record screech right here. Let's solo that. Really simple. And then everything else is dialogue from the fellas. And this last bit right here is a beat by our music producer, Mr. Stats Harlem. And that is the entire tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you are interested in video stuff, I'm going to be doing a lot more. It is literally what I do for a living. So subscribe. Check me out on Instagram. I've got a bunch of work there. The whole nine. I've got my little socials down here as well, so you can see. It's literally just rubihndz everywhere, or as Lee Chung and fucking Yipes say, it is rubihndz or rubihndz. That's not how you pronounce it, but you know, it's fine. I'll hold that. And that's pretty much gonna do it for me. See you guys later.